Hello, gorgeous people of the experiment. I'm excited for today's session. Before I jump in, I have some important information. So, for those of you who follow me a lot on my social media, I sold a program called Mid-Year Manifesto, and a lot of people messaged the Alpha Femme team asking if the credits, because Mid-Year Manifesto is like, I think it's 777, because on early bird, so 777. Can we use our credits if we buy Mid-Year Manifesto for the experiment? And the first feeling I had was no. And so the team has said no to multiple people. And then yesterday, this whole new thing channeled through for me for Mid-Year Manifesto. And I was like, actually, yes, you can. So plot twist, if you had asked that question, the answer is not anymore no. The answer is yes. So if you purchase Mid-Year Manifesto, which is 777, you will then have a $777 credit that you will be allowed to use for next phases of the experiment. That is the information. If you don't know what I'm talking about or you need more clarity, message the Alpha Femme team, but that tidies that up for those who didn't know what I was talking about. Okay, so now, how long do we have to purchase it? It's on early bird until tomorrow at 10 p.m. So it's 777 until tomorrow at 10 p.m. But after that, it goes up to 1,111, or if you join We Are Alpha Femme, the membership, it's 555.50. So at that point, you could join a month of the membership plus 555 and it would come out to the same price. So there's a way to get that same price anyway, even though it's after early bird, just whichever one you prefer. Let me just see. And if you haven't used your golden ticket, you can use that in the experiment, but not for Mid-Year Manifesto. Golden tickets are only for the experiment. Okay. And any little questions, any side questions, let's ask the Alpha Femme team. I just wanted to make sure everyone knew the decision had changed, but for details, just message the Alpha Femme team. So I have an important question for you, and I really want you to be as honest as you can for this. So take a big breath. I want you to tap into the last few days since our last call. And I want you to tell me if you feel that you have stayed as connected to the experiment if I was not posting every day. The real truth. Did you continue to do as much at the forefront of your mind? Did you do the work the same every single day? Did you just plug in, you continue doing the thing, you led yourself, or, and this, no shame, or did you realize that without the constant posting and reminders, you were not quite as present? There was more space in between. And if for you, you're realizing it's actually nuanced. So it's like, yes, I was still connected, but there was definitely a difference. You can also share that. Okay, so some stayed connected. I found a difference. Something was different. I stayed connected, so my presence dropped a little. I plugged in, I had the most magical weekend, still in bliss and gratitude, but not as energetically connected. Whenever I had a moment of stillness, I reflected on the experiment. I stayed connected. Yes, but not 100% every day, but I'm proud of myself regardless. No. Yes, plugged in. My depression's been really high the last few days. Moments of bliss. And if it wasn't bliss, I just felt present. I get forgetful. Perfect. I was so in the God zone and so much gratitude. It was at the forefront of my mind. Yes, no, yes. I've continued to do the work, but some days I had to remind myself to build more energy inside, just a bit less. Yes, but still connected, still doing the work. It gave me space to digest. It's nuanced. I was wondering and checking if I'd missed a post. That in itself was a reminder to do the work. 100% my connection to nature and others was amplified. The presence dropped a little. I went deeper into the space. So why I'm asking you this question, first of all, and you can continue to unpack this for yourself, but one of the reasons I've asked you this question is I wanted you to see how different people are. Sometimes you'll say to yourself, like, what is the right amount of support? What do people need? People who? Which ones? Am I going to be annoying? Am I going to annoy people if I keep posting and I keep giving contemplations? Maybe. If I give people so much space, will they disconnect? Maybe, but also maybe they'll realize that their self-leadership has grown and it'll make them realize that they're more connected than they have been. And so in a lot of times in our lives, we question what's the right thing to do, not because there is a right and a wrong. This is really important what I'm going to say right now, especially for those of you who feel very intuitive and that feel like you have that empath gift. It's not that there's something that's right or wrong. It's more that we actually feel the energy of so many people. So the real truth, when you ask yourself, like, will people like this? And you get this immediate, like, well, I don't know. It's not that I lack confidence in myself. It's that I actually feel like I know for a fact some people will enjoy this and some people won't. I can feel inside my body at the exact moment where I go to present this, the people who are going to go, I don't need that. And the people who are going to go, this is exactly what I need. And so because I feel both, I'm not sure about myself anymore. Which one is right? So what I've found in my work is that in order to serve, what I found even in my life, my family life, my friends, what I found is that in order for me to feel correct, I cannot be making my decisions based on what I think people need. And the thing that most people will say is, do what you think is best, or do what you think is right for you. And a lot of times that is a good idea, especially in relationships, because what we want to do is for me, for you, for us. But when it comes to an intuition where you're not necessarily attached. So for example, you want to write a book and you're like, what should the book be about? And you're like, well, I could put it in this direction, but then all these people wouldn't value it. And I could put it in this direction, but all these people wouldn't value it. I could start a podcast, but if I did it in this way, people wouldn't value it. I could do a program, but if I did this price point, some people couldn't buy it. And if I do this price point, some people couldn't buy it. When that kind of stuff starts happening, what I realize is we're asking the wrong people. The people that we want to be asking are not the humans. The people we want to be asking are whoever we connect to when we imagine we're speaking to divine intelligence. So it's not about just what do I want to do, because sometimes I want to do any of it. I love all of it. I could do any of it. I'd be happy to do whatever it is if it helps you. I don't mind. I can talk about money today. I can talk about branding today, marketing today. I can talk about deep spiritual things today. Like what do you want me to talk to you about? But then I ask you that and you say one thing and you say another 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 thing. And I'm like, oh no. And so what I found is there has to be some sort of connection that we have with a higher connection where we say, like, what would you have me do? What would I, like, if I were to follow God guidance, if I were to be in the God zone and be like, this is what I feel called to do, that is the move. And then you just trust the move. Not because this is the only move, but because it is the move. It's not, I want this to work. So it doesn't have the attachment. And it's not this is what's going to make them happy, which means it also doesn't have the people pleasing. So you go outside of the two places that usually sway you and you just trust the decision. Now, why have I found this is so important? Because any decision you make with all your heart, you can make right. And the reason every decision you make with all of your heart you can make right is because there's just as many chances it's going to go right as chances it's going to go wrong anyway. And so you could make the perfect decision and people could be unhappy with it. And you could make the worst decision and people would applaud you for it. So really what it's about is making a decision and then making it so that it is the right decision. And what I have found that this has done for me, making a decision not from my ego and not from my preference, especially when it comes to serving, and not making the decision because of what I think people need, which is often a validation escape. And I'm not going to get that hit either because we're too much of a different world. Too many people need different things. But if I just go into myself and I'm like, what would you have me do? And then I make it the right decision. So let's make this tangible. What does that look like? I got an intuition. Don't post another experiment. Don't post another work. And so I'm like, okay, but I've been posting the work nonstop. So what is it? And I always question. Is it because less and less people are answering? Do I feel like I'm bothering them? No, people are still answering beautifully. The answers are incredible for those who are answering. Okay. Am I out of ideas? Nope. I already have 3 ones that I could post right now. Okay. So it's not that. Is it that I'm not present and I wouldn't be there to answer? No, that's not the feeling either. Okay. So get out of my head. I just give space. And immediately, but like, what if people, and I just went into the experiment and I got the real intuition, like, just let them lead themselves or let them realize how valuable mentorship is or let them see how far they've come, or let them realize that they haven't been connected. Let them figure out something here. This is an important pivotal part. I said, okay. And when I asked today what happened, I got a plethora of answers. Some of you were straight up, no, without you posting, I didn't even look at the group. I didn't do any of the things. I completely forgot. How long has it been since then? Oops. Some of you were like, of course I did. What do you mean? I'm locked and loaded. I'm in the God zone. I am in, like, you blew my mind. Some of you were like, you know what? I didn't even realize, but it's true. You didn't post. I've been super connected. Some of you are like, well, I noticed that you weren't posting. Felt a bit weird. I was like looking for the post, but then it made me realize I should probably stay connected to the work. And in the end, I led myself. Some of you are like, I'm so grateful that you created space because it actually made me catch up with stuff I hadn't done. It made me contemplate deeper and it gave me this breakthrough. I realized, blah, blah, blah. Some of you are like, okay, cool. Make sure you don't do that again though, because I hated it. But what does it mean? What does it mean that everyone had such different experiences? We're in so much search for meaning in our life. Like, what's going to happen? What are they going to think? What's it going to mean? If they didn't stay connected, did I wreck everything? If they were more connected, does it mean they don't care about the experiment? If they're this, does it mean this? Does it mean this? And we spend so much time wasting thinking about what are people going to think, or what do people want? And what is it going to mean if people react a certain way? Like, so much of it is calculated that there's very little room for an experiment. Now, the other part of this is, what is an experiment? An experiment is, I don't know what's going to happen. Outside of this experiment, how long ago was it the last time that you did something with the pure energetics of, let me try this and see what happens? Let's just give this a shot. Like, in full honesty, before I got into personal development, and I've been doing a lot of experimenting, but before personal development, I think the extent I would be willing to do that with is like spaghetti sauce. Let's see what I've got in the fridge. These ingredients are kind of weird. Let's make a sauce, or let's make a stir fry. Like, I'll experiment with my cooking, but I'm not experimenting with anything else. Let's not test anything else. And I say I'm experimenting, but after every ingredient, I'm like, no, need less of this or need more of that. Or I'm not going like, I'm trusting the process. Here's all my ingredients. Let's hope this is delicious. It's like one little pinch of this. It needs more. Oh, I didn't like that. How do you balance that? How do I balance acidity? Add sugar. Okay. Like, how do I fix this every little step of the way? And so what I love about experimenting in my life is it puts me more close. It puts me closer to the trust that I was not sent here like a lost soul with no direction and only a hope for a really solid brain and a good memory so that I could remember so I don't mess it up. Like, I was not sent here like, here is going to be your life. Here is your mission. Do not forget a thing. You're on your own. Go. Like, that's not how it happened. It's like, you are entirely supported. You are entirely held. You are surrounded by people who are going to remind you that you're either in alignment or not. And none of it means anything. At any point, if you want to pivot, so be it. That's how we were sent here. So experiments are actually incredible mirrors because they show us how far we've strayed from trust. What do you mean an experiment? Why am I experimenting? Do I not know? Why are we experimenting? Do we not know everything at this point? Can we not be sure? Can't we be certain? Can we not have 100% certainty? We want to be able to experiment, but experimentation also comes with trust. And so in this experiment, I have from the beginning opened myself up to a different level of trust than I ever have. And the thing that keeps being the solid message throughout this entire space, and this is going to make more and more sense as we go deeper and deeper into the experiment, but there's this feeling like, I imagine us sitting together on the ground. I feel like the energy is, I see all of us, and I experience that all our energy is in the middle. And all the energy is tangled. There's all kinds of energy. There's energy of worrying. There's energy of satisfaction. There's energy of pleasure and breakthroughs. There is energy of feeling like I don't belong, or worrying I don't belong, or feel like I'm behind, or feeling I'm in advance. How on earth are you talking about this today? I channeled something like about this yesterday. Some of you feel so in advance. Some people feel left behind. But I see us sitting all together where we wouldn't really know where the beginning is and the end is of this big circle, but we're just all sitting there and the energy is in the middle. And as we do things, the energy changes in the middle. The majority of the energy is feeling turmoil. All of a sudden, the majority of the energy is feeling light. All of a sudden, the majority of the energy is feeling like magic and butterflies and chills. And all of a sudden, the majority is feeling like sorrow and sadness and shame. And all of a sudden, the majority of the energy, and we're starting to feel each other's feelings without it feeling so scary. You've been able to hold space for strangers here that have made you sob like you were listening to your best friend, someone you've literally never met before. And I have felt you not cut it off. I felt you surrender into the feelings and be like, I'm in this with you. And I want to see where the coaching goes. And as the coaching goes, you actually let yourself move through the sadness at the same time as the participants moving through the sadness. We've laughed together. We've cried together. You've allowed yourself to feel what other people are feeling, and you've allowed yourself to feel the coaching and move your way out of it. Like there is this flow that's starting to create itself. And if you were to trust a little bit more in your life, you'd realize that you can create this kind of trust in your world, where things don't necessarily break, they bend, they figure themselves out. Now, are there always going to be like perfect scenarios where everyone gets it? No. That's part of where the trust comes in. So trust isn't just, is this going to work? Trust is, if it doesn't, will I survive? Trust isn't just, is it working? Trust is also, if it's not working for an extended period of time, do I still believe that it can change? Do I believe it could look like it's not working until the very last day, and all of a sudden, everyone gets on the same page? Could that still happen? Trust is like going through the path, not knowing for sure if there's something on the other side, but feeling like there is, and realizing and feeling other people are walking towards the path with you. And so I think the important demonstration here, and I'm going to ask you this now, is there a thing in your life that you really want to do? And I'm actually going to purposefully speak to people who have a passion inside. So whether this is for your business, or whether it's like you've wanted to write a book, or you've wanted to start a blog, or you've thought of writing a children's book, or you've always wished that you could be something or do something, whatever it is. But when you think about putting that thing out there into the world, you realize after having this conversation, or you already knew, that the feeling of feeling the entire world and the fact that some people won't like it starts to hit you, and you're like, I don't know how to position this, and I don't know how to position it. I don't know how to talk about it. I don't know how to say it. I don't know how to sell it. I don't know how to do it. And so because I don't know how to make everybody love it, I'm gonna do this instead. And so what I would ask you is, what do you do instead? Do you wait? What's your thing that you do? You wait? Freeze? Do you think about it? Or do you say you're gonna think about it, but really you just kind of overanalyze? Freeze, get busy, postpone, I let it crumble. All of the above. I procrastinate, I disassociate, I overanalyze, I disappear. I overanalyze, my body starts to hurt. I try to go and learn more. I tiptoe instead of diving in. I overanalyze. I feel tired, I feel exhausted. I hide. I go back to something more manageable. I shame myself. So here's the other part of this. Can you recognize in this moment that if you were to put something out there that is like all of your heart, you put this out there, it's all of your heart, like this is your thing. And if the result that came back would be that people don't get it, or they don't like it, or they judge it, or they tell you that you didn't do it properly, or there's a too big bump in the road than you would have expected and people watch you bump, whatever. Do you recognize that the feeling that you would probably feel if that happened was shame? Be like, can't let everybody watch me fail at this, or can't misrepresent this such important thing that I believe in by me being not good enough at doing it. Like, can't. I can't let people down. It's so exposing. So this is where it's like, in order to not have the shame, the embarrassment, the judgment of others that make us feel ashamed, whatever it is. Our parents who said, if you wanted a job, why don't you go back to blah, blah, blah? Why don't you go to university? Why don't you do this? Your friends that are all figured out and you haven't figured it out yet. Your kids that are like, you still trying at that? How's that going? Like all those feelings. It's just like, I can't, just can't. Now, the crazy thing with this is shame will make you not pick it up and not put it down. It'll make you try it before it's ready or not try at all. It'll make you overanalyze or not analyze enough and act too soon just so you can say, well, I just went on a whim anyway. I should have given it more time. I just went for it. I don't know. It'll make you do either one of the things. It's not even like analyzing behavior, because behavior doesn't even matter. That's why shame is so hard to pinpoint, because we could literally do opposite things and be like, well, it can't be the same problem. I'm doing two different things. I used to do this and now I do this. Yeah, it's the same thing though. I'm just trying to avoid the shame. So I'm going to have you put yourself in the space of being me for a minute, because we're actually able to do this in this group right now. I have put myself in the seat with so many of the women who came here, and I've seen you do it too. Like, people have come here and certain of these women have just touched you and you're like, I can feel this as if it happened to me. So I want you to take a moment and imagine for a moment that you can switch places with me. Like, take your consciousness and just like, shh. And I want you to imagine that you are leading this experiment and that there is this constant cleaning up that you've got to do to make sure that you're not attached to the outcome of it, because it's an experiment. You have got to constantly clean it up, because if you get attached, it's going to change the outcome. The whole goal, and you were told this very clearly, your mission, if you choose to accept it, is the following: you cannot be attached. This is an experiment. It's an experiment for them, and it's an experiment for you. So I want you to really imagine you're me in this moment. You're holding the energy of all these people in this group. You care about them like crazy. You want their life to succeed, but the mission is you can't be attached. Okay? You know exactly how many sessions there are, and you're getting information of what's supposed to come. You have big lines, and then sometimes stuff's coming through and it's like, this has to fit in that call, and you're like, there won't be enough calls, and it's like, there is enough calls. And then you stay connected, and you're really working on it. Stay connected with them, but don't be attached. Well, it's a lot easier to not be attached if I don't get connected to them. So can't it just be like, let them lead themselves? No. Okay. So then you read every comment that's coming in the group. Some people are getting it, some people are not. But you can't do anything about it. You can't change the curriculum. You got to trust. Can you feel in your body? How many times you got to trust? Okay. So you're there. You connect, you be in the field, but you got to trust. Even if you panic, even if you're like, I could do something that could change the feeling, it's not your job. Trust what's supposed to be. If something else is supposed to come through, it will. Every single time I get your homework, every single time I get my homework, every single time the next phase comes, I get the same thing that I post in this group, which is the next phase of the experiment will find you when time is right. Like, I get that same, I get that. So imagine you're receiving this, do this, the next phase will come through when it's the time. The next piece will come through for you when it's the time. You can't be thinking, you can't be planning too far ahead, because anything can switch. You got to just trust. Can you feel how your mind might want to be like, but what do I do next? Okay, now I want you to imagine this. The Alpha Femme team is in your inbox like, what's the next phase? And you say, I don't know. I've got two possibilities and it's not time yet to know. Well, when will we know? I don't know. It's because we're going to need it in order to do that. Yeah, got it. The design, can we work on this? Nope. Will you tell us when? Yes. Can I expedite it? Can I choose something? No. Okay. And then the comfort of at least having the connection, even though we can't do anything about it. Stop. But some people will feel abandoned. Trust. But some people will feel like I missed the mark. Are we doing this for you? Oh, crap. No. So what if they did think you messed it up? It wasn't about you anyway. Fine. I'm sorry. I apologize. You're right. Oh my gosh, my ego. But is there something I can say where I'm like, God said not to post anything? No. What if I misunderstood? Is this about you? No. Now I want you to imagine feeling all of that, not even telling the group there's going to be less posting. You're on your own. You're on all the stories that you might create in your head. And then now ask the question, what happened? And I want you to imagine seeing what we saw in the comment section. I disconnected. I disconnected. I disconnected. No, I did not stay connected. No. And a bunch of yeses, but how loud would those no's be? Trust the process. Trust the process. Trust the process. Trust the process. How much of what we do is to try to make sure everybody's okay instead of trusting that people are capable of doing what they've got to do, and that as long as you're connected to something and you trust it, you can make it right. So here's what my breakthrough is now. So can you imagine these feelings? The feeling of even doing an experiment in the first place, When then people ask, hello, I'm considering purchasing the invisible offer. What is it? I can't tell you. It's supposed to stay invisible. But what if I don't like it? Don't buy it. But what if it changes my life? It probably will. So can't you tell me what it is? No. But what if I don't like it? Is it refundable? No. Are you ever going to give information? No. When you're questioned, when you're asked, when people want to know, when people need to know, when people to manage all of that and to trust beyond it all, this isn't about us, really. Not when you have a mission that's like, it feels like it was sent to you. Then it's like, if I was given the mission, then I was given the mission. So I have to handle the whole human. What if they feel I dropped the ball? What if they don't like it? They'll make me responsible. They won't be like, oh, well, it's not Melanie's fault. It's God's fault. They'll be like, it's Alpha Fem's fault. It's Melanie's fault. Like, I'm going to be responsible. God's like, yes. So I'm like, wait. I'm responsible, but it's not about me. Exactly. I will be held responsible, but it's not about me. Yes, but you will also be rewarded and it's not about you. Leaders are bridges and bridges are tested. I want you to imagine in your life if you were able to take that on. I'm responsible, but it's not about me. I'm responsible in how I communicate with people, but if they hate how I communicated, it's not about me, but I'm totally responsible for it. I'm completely responsible for how relationships work or don't work in my life, but if they don't work, it's not about me. And if they do work, it's not about me. But I'm completely responsible. Okay. So I sat with this, and here's the contemplation that came through. And I have had this contemplation before, and it has never landed like this before. How often do we only allow ourselves to help people because we think we're capable of helping them? So I want you to imagine if you're in business, your clients, like you have a certain range of client that you feel confident selling to or offering your services to. And beyond that, you start questioning whether you're capable or not. You maybe have a kind of person that you believe you would be worthy of going on a date with. And then beyond a certain level, you're like, oh, no, I won't be able to hold my own in the conversation. Why would anyone like that ever go for a person like me? You have a kind of friend that you feel you're able to be the best friend to. You could help them. You could be there for them. You could give them things. You could be there for them. But past a certain point, a different level of friendship where maybe they would be there for you. Oh, gosh, that feels bad. What if they don't like you? What if you don't feel the same? What if you're not as good as they are? What if? So I would like you to actually take a moment and tell me if it's business, if it's relationship, if it's friendships, where do you do this hierarchy thing? So we're seeing a lot of this coming up. Here's what I started realizing in the context of this breakthrough. I'm responsible, but it's not about me. It means I could serve anybody as long as I'm willing to be responsible. Because if I fail, I'm not going to do the self-deprecating thing of I suck because it wasn't about me. If I succeed, I'm not going to do this whole I'm the best, look at me, I'm a genius, because it's not about me. But what I do need to be able to hold is that I'm completely responsible. Will I do whatever it takes? Will I trust Sourcefield? Or will I be swayed by fear of not being good enough or ego of being so good and then just start thinking, oh, I think I know what I'm doing? Responsible, meaning I am in charge of how I make decisions, why I make decisions. I'm in charge of whether I get support or whether I ask God. I'm responsible for how I decide to move forward. But it's not about me if I'm fully in the source field. So if you're going to probably need to contemplate this if this feels messy on the call, but the way my mind is seeing it is like a triangle. So this point in the back pulls me back because I'm afraid of failing. This point in the back pulls me back because I think I'm so good that I don't need help or I don't need to learn or I don't need anything. This point in the front leads me forward because it has nothing to do with me, but I can I can feel where I'm supposed to go. Not because this is what they want and not because this is what makes me good enough, because this is what it is. And I think so many of us can't feel the inner compass because it's completely drowned out by the fear of being ashamed. If my big fear is that I'm going to be ashamed, I can't fail. And if my big fear is that I'm going to be ashamed, I can't look like I'm outsourcing my knowledge from anywhere else than actual factual, like I can support this and I know exactly what I'm doing, or I'm doing it myself, or whatever it is. But if my entire being is in service, then I'm responsible for acting in alignment with what I'm feeling called or told to do based on my connection. But I barely hear the connection when I'm so in my fear of being ashamed, because it's the most human thing I can feel. Angels don't feel ashamed. God doesn't feel ashamed. It's a human thing. Shame is a human emotion. So if I am completely connected to the fear of shame, I can only be on the back end of myself. I can only be leaning backwards. And if I make an action, I'm going to go crooked a little bit, either crooked because of an ego or crooked because of a fear, but it will not be full aligned direction, because the thing it's supposed to be guided by, or, just fully pulled back and I'm not moving at all. But the thing that's supposed to be really guiding me forward is this thing that I can totally trust. And because there's always going to be people who love it and people who don't love it, once you trust, you get to choose that it was right, even if some people didn't like it, because it wasn't about people liking it. It was about what was right. If it was about what people liked, then you would be pulled in this part of the triangle. If it was about making sure you looked like a superhero, you'd be pulled in this part of the triangle. If you feel like it's about the God zone and the trust, you get pulled here. So if we go back to where we changed places before, and you can imagine all the things I've had you go through as being me, I want you to imagine that in front of you, there's this triangle. Okay, so your right hand would pull you backwards into fear of failure and people not liking your decision. Your left back triangle would pull you back into making sure you look good, protecting yourself, saying, okay, guys, I channeled this incredible thing that I'm supposed to do. Here's what you're going to do. Protect my ego. Make sure you don't think I've forgotten about you, or I'm wrong, or I'm bad, or whatever it is. And then the front part is the one that you may not even understand right now, but if you tap into being me in the moment, you can feel it for me. So I want you to imagine, if you are sitting in my seat right now, how much do you not want to fail? So even if you want to put your triangle in front of your body, and you notice, like, how much does your right arm want to pull back into, like, if you can imagine in your energy, how much can you feel that I don't want to feel, I don't want to fail. I don't want to mess it up. I don't want to do something that people don't want me to do. I don't want them to feel like I did the wrong thing. I don't want them to disconnect. I don't want them to feel like they're not getting supported. I don't want them to feel like they didn't do the right thing. I don't want them to feel, okay. Now I want you to tap into the other side. How much do I not want to look bad? How much do I not want them to think I don't care anymore? I've disconnected. I'm not leading them anymore. I don't care. How much am I afraid that's going to happen? I'm afraid they're not going to see me properly. I'm going to be misunderstood. I don't get to tell them that this is because of something guided. I have to just wait. What if the whole time I'm waiting, they're imagining something that's not happening? Notice how there's a pull there. And then see if you can tap into the field. I trust. I'll process whatever things I fear I trust. I'll process whatever things I fear I trust. I'll process whatever things I fear I trust. I'll process whatever feels I feel I trust. How much can you feel that? So these three things are constantly happening at all times. And sometimes we don't even gauge it for ourselves. Don't even ask. Am I doing this? I'm afraid they're gonna be mad. Am I afraid because I'm afraid I'm gonna look bad? Or do I trust? You'll notice, although some of them felt real while you were doing it, most probably as soon as you tapped into whatever it is, I'll figure it out, I trust, your body started feeling really different at that point. And so the fact is, it's not that we don't feel to others. It's not that I don't feel it to others. It's that the one that is the most important for me, I always ask. So have you found that sometimes you'll tell yourself, what if people don't like it? And then you have the thought, oh gosh, that could happen. But then you never ask another question. It's like the fact that that could happen, that's it. That's the end of the line of questioning. What if people don't like it? Oh, well, there you go. What if I look like a mess? What if I look like a failure? What if I experience looking like a div? Ugh, okay, never mind, don't want to do it. But then we forget to ask the most important one. if it's aligned. And it's not about me. Can I trust? And you're going to realize how much you're actually capable of feeling that one as well. So much of our lives, what we're afraid of is that because there's a chance it could go wrong, there's just no point in trying. That's not how it works. All outcomes exist. That's the wild thing about the God zone. All the outcomes exist. There is an outcome of me going backwards, going from the front seat of my car into a terrible relationship, into poverty and hatred for the world, losing myself, dwindle. God knows where I am right now. That possibility exists. There's a possibility that exists of me doing this work and staying invisible forever and only having a few clients and always fearing that I'm not enough and never, always doing the work for my clients, but never doing it for me and never actually becoming, just being a channel, making not a lot of money, following the rules of the spiritual teachers that once you've had an awakening, it should be free, and never getting to experience myself, just giving it. That reality exists. There's a reality that exists that I get so attached to the money that I completely forget everything of the beginnings, that my heart goes cold when I get hurt. And I just go into a very cerebral, masculine, driven, money, let go of all the spiritual stuff I believe in entirely, go into automation, go into this, retire, call it a day. They all exist. So how am I here? Have I made mistakes along the way? Have I felt pain along the way? For sure. But I'm constantly checking in to make sure I'm in the God zone. And the only way you can be in the God zone is from source field, is when you're in that place where you're not bump, shame, bump, anger, bump, sadness, bump, guilt, bump. When you expand yourself into bliss, into gratitude, when that's there, sometimes it's also difficult to access the God zone, as crazy as that is, but sometimes you'll be so excited or just so happy that you feel you're only worthy of the God zone when you're high vibe. For me, the key to entering the God zone was to be able to enter God zone in source field, because source field is just, I'm okay. This is the biggest misunderstanding of everything I'd ever understood in any of the personal development stuff that ever was taught in seminars or anything that I'd ever heard. The thing that blocked me, that I just could not get past, is how can it be true that you have to be high vibe if I got here sitting in the front seat of a Honda Civic in a snowstorm? How can it be true? How can it be true? Because I was definitely not high and excited, and I was definitely not winning at life, and I was definitely not, that's not what my life was. I was saying every day, I'm okay, I'm all right. Like, that is the place I got to. And I realized we don't need to be over the top to enter the God zone. The over the top is actually just our most pleasant experience. The happiest you can be, the most excited that you could be, that's just something you get to have. And you'll be magnetic to people that are in that frequency when they're in it, but you'll also be extremely polarizing to people who are not in that experience when they're there. So the God zone, the source field, the equilibrium, the place in the middle is actually the place where we are the most universally magnetic. Because without even realizing it, in super joy, super happy, super this, we're sometimes provoking the people in sadness. So although it's the greatest experience, there's a price to pay. There's a duality. Where there is the least duality is right here. The least duality is in the God zone, in the source field, in the middle. But we didn't come here just to be. We came here because we wanted to live. We came here because we wanted to experience things. We came here because we wanted a range. And so then we experience duality, but then we shame ourselves for the duality. I was so happy yesterday, and now I'm miserable. I'm not allowed to be happy today. I was sad. I've been so sad. I'm not allowed to laugh at that. I'm not allowed to laugh. I should be ashamed of myself. Things are so hard right now. And if I smile, people won't understand how hard they are. I can't show people how hard it is, or else they'll think that I'm not worthy of the thing I have. I have to do this or else. And so the gift is to be able to go back to neutrality. And neutrality is where you're able to actually just be okay. And so here's the big thing. If God says, God, Mother Nature, the universe says, okay, give him time. And I'm like, okay, I'll go tell him I'm going to give them time. No. Well, I'm changing the pattern. I've got to say something. No. But what if they think I don't care? Is it about you? I mean, it's going to be projected onto me. But is it about you? No. What's your responsibility? My responsibility is to conduct the experiment. So conduct the experiment. What if they think, is that your responsibility? Well, depends. No. Is this mission about how people perceive you, or is this mission about the experiment? This mission is about the experiment. So you have a preference in the back of the triangle, Melanie, of what if they think or what if they don't like. But what is the responsibility? The responsibility is to do the experiment in the way that it was supposed to be. So there's no question. And then I can trust and I'm going to be okay. What your responsibility is the thing you said you would do before you got afraid that people wouldn't like it or that people wouldn't like you. You have a parenting style that's very different when you're not afraid your kids aren't going to like it and you're not afraid your kids aren't going to like you, but you're responsible for their outcome. It's a different kind of parenting. I love you with all of my heart and I care about you and your life. I made a vow at some point. I talked to you for years in my belly before, for months in my belly before I ever saw you. I promised I'd take care of you. That was the promise. And if you don't like it, sometimes I question whether I'm a good or not a bad parent. But what was the responsibility? Was the responsibility that your child will love you forever? Like you for always, no matter the decision? Even if it's no, you can't drink beer, you're 14? No, you can't sleep over there. I don't know the parents. No, you can't get in that car. That person doesn't even have a full permit yet. No, you can't drink Red Bull. You're too young for coffee. Your skirt's too short. Please wash the makeup off. Am I a terrible mother? Am I a terrible parent? What's the responsibility? When you parent based on responsibility, you parent differently. When you're in a relationship, when you say, I'm in for this relationship, I'm committed to this relationship. What am I responsible for? I'm responsible for the relationship. Yeah, but what if they don't like what you did? But did I do it for the relationship? Like, is it right for the relationship? Yeah, but you can't tell them the hard thing. What if they don't like it? But if I don't tell them the hard thing, the relationship will fall apart. Yeah, but they won't like you. Yeah, but give us 3 years. I will not love them anymore if I don't have the conversation. I did something I'm not proud of. So let me just not tell anybody. But are you going to pull away from the relationship and there's going to be no more intimacy and no more trust and no more? Yes, but at least I won't feel ashamed. But it was the responsibility in this relationship that you would never feel shame, or that you would drive the relationship where it's supposed to go, and that you would honor the partner that you're with. Oh. I want to serve people. Who here has a mission that's like, I want to help women that are in abusive situations. I want to help, money in the hands of women. I want to help people reconnect to their spirit. I want to help people learn how to express themselves. I want to help relationships and marriages. I want to help parents. I want to help people understand themselves through human design or through another type of system. I want to help people get their word out. I want to help people write a book. I want to help people do that. You guys have missions. And then there's like, but what if my in-laws see my post and then they don't like it? Well, did you accept the responsibility of making your in-laws like your Facebook posts? Was that the mission you accepted? Is that what you live for every day? Good morning, world. After this strong coffee, I'll make sure I post something my mother-in-law likes, and then I'll have a long stroll. Like, that wasn't the promise. But then you think of the thing you are feeling called to say, and you go, but what if they don't like it? And what if I look bad? And what if I this? Instead of, but what's the mission? And so what we're afraid of a lot of the times is we're afraid we're going to make the wrong decision. And I think it's very valid that we would be afraid of that, because we have a responsibility to the mission, to being a parent, to being a friend, to being a partner. But then shouldn't the only question be, is this in alignment with the mission? And if I'm not sure, God, is this in alignment with the mission? Shouldn't that be the only real question? Even if everything else is like, yeah, but what if they don't like me? But is it in alignment with the mission? And if I get, well, actually, it's not really in alignment with the mission. It's in alignment with you, with me feeling like I'm doing good at the mission. Oh, we put a lot of extra stuff to try to do things to get these back ends of the triangle. Of course, it's part of the mission. I need to explain myself. I need to over-explain myself. I need to cut the pricing. I need to be smaller or louder or whatever, or else I won't be seen. Won't be seen at all? Or won't be seen by people you think you should be seen by? People I think I should be seen by. How did you determine who you should be seen by? Out of fear I wouldn't be seen by anybody? Okay, so we're completely in the back end of the triangle. Why isn't my mission going forward? I've tried everything. What have you tried? I mean, I've thought about what I should offer. I've thought about what I wanted to offer. I did what I thought people wanted. I cut the price so that it wouldn't be too expensive. Okay, but those are all back end triangle stuff. Tell me more about the mission. What do you even do? I don't know how to explain it. Why? What'll happen if try? I can't. Why? I just don't know how to explain it. So you're afraid you're going to say it wrong and I won't get it, and then what'll happen? Well, then I'll be embarrassed. Okay, so let's start with that because we don't care about that, remember? Let's get the vision clear. Oh, gosh, okay, yes, okay, this is the thing. So we get so stuck that we don't do the things for the right reasons. We do them because of what it looks like. And the thing is, I've said this so many times, but I see this visual now. What it looks like is the back end of the triangle. What it is the front. What it looks like is people like it and I feel good about me. Or people didn't like it and I feel terrible about me and I'm a victim and all the thing. Back end is what it looks like. I trust. It's in alignment with the mission I checked. And if they don't like it, or if I look bad for a minute, it'll all come right because it's all for the mission. And I checked. I trust. I'm okay. I'm all right. I don't need the validation and I don't need everyone on earth to like me, but I've accepted this mission. So can I move forward with it? So we all have different experiences as we're leading ourselves. For some, it'll be like, if I have people telling me that what I'm doing is good, whether it be by applauding me, telling me, buying from me, following me on social media, liking me, as long as I have that, I can move forward. You're going to move forward crooked. If you say, as long as I feel good about myself, as long as it's a good day, as long as I have no shame, as long as I know I'm nailing it, as long as I feel good, you'll also go crooked. And the thing is, we don't calculate how far we've gone this way. We actually judge that because you can go in diagonal for a very long time, but when we calculate how far you've gone, it's not very far. I can go in diagonal like this and barely move forward this much over 10 years. And I have people tell me this all the time. I've been doing this for 10 years. I've barely moved. I'm like, you haven't not moved. You've moved 10 years. And they're like, yes, but forward, I've only gone that long. I'm like, yeah, because you're going sideways. Are you afraid or are you posturing? Because that's why we go crooked. The only way you go straight is if it's for the mission. And sometimes you'll be like, I don't really know what my mission is. Well, what do you feel pulled to represent? Is it a parent thing? Is it a relationship thing? Is it a you leading you thing? Or is it a bigger mission that's outside of you, like something like a book or a business or a creation, an invention? But whatever it is, there's a forward. But the forward creates stuff in the back. And we're so busy looking at the back and then we drive crooked. I would be really curious what would happen if you got into a car and started looking in the back right corner and tried to drive straight. I would be really curious what would happen if you got into your car and looked out the back left corner and tried to go straight. There's just no way. All of our lives are in front of us, right in the direction our spirit most knows is the direction. But we're human. So we check and we check and we check, and then we go crooked, and then we check and we check. So what I would love to bring forward, just got a huge lightning, huge lightning in my window, ultimate power. What I want you to contemplate for this is whether you tend to need more help in life, help coming from a place where every time you receive help, it feels like you're a little less than, but you'd rather get help Because if you get help, at least you won't fail people because you'll have people telling you what's right. Or whether you're going the other way and you don't want to get any help because you're afraid it'll look like you need help and you want to be the strong person that never needs help, that can lead themselves and doesn't need help. And it feels like if you needed help, it would be showing that you needed something. So you would rather feel completely good and not bug anyone and not ask for anything. But also that gives you a feeling of like, I'm good. Or whether you crisscross and there's days where you're like, I'm lost. I need support. I need something. I'm not good. I need someone to help me. And other days you're like, I can do everything on my own. I'm not a baby. I don't need anybody's help. And anybody who tries to help me makes me feel like, you think I need help? I don't need help. I'm me. Psh. These two parts of me. Or the forward, which is, God, what would you have me do? Which is finding directions in this world where you're like, this is in alignment with my mission, listening to this is in alignment with my mission, eating this is in alignment with my mission, doing this is in alignment with my mission, and finding allies, mentors, pathways, things that actually help you stay in the God zone path. But all the stories of you shouldn't need this, you shouldn't need help, you should be good enough on your own, or no one's helping you, no wonder you're struggling, no wonder you don't know what to do, no one helped you, no one trained you, no one gave you a chance, no one gave you a leg up. Whether you're on either one of those, you're on the back. So what would happen if you just tilted forward and actually experience the feeling, I trust, I'm okay, I'm all right? And you actually ask yourself, is this in alignment with my mission? Is this person in alignment with my mission? Is this decision in alignment with my mission? Is this conversation in alignment with my mission? Is this pause in alignment with my mission? Is it in alignment with my mission? Instead of, will they like it and will I look bad? Everything you ask from this will always get a fear. You're human. But if you want to know what alignment looks like, got to go from the front. Now, is there anyone that is here right now that is experiencing a feeling that is just like, I feel out of the loop? Like I'm not getting any of it. I don't feel anything that's happening right now. Okay. Mary, come on up.
Hi.
Hi. So share with me. Tell me what you're experiencing.
I feel like I live in two separate worlds. I can tap into the God zone. I can have a meditation where I really relax and I get all of these ideas and all of these like inspirations, and I just want to stay there. I don't want to actually, it's like, okay, but now we got to come back to reality. I've experienced so much trauma. I mean, this experiment has shifted my world in my relationship with my husband, and yet I still feel so lost in how to connect and stay connected and understand what I'm supposed to do and where I'm supposed to go, because it's like this is inspiring, that's inspiring, and I don't know where to focus. And I know I have a lot of gifts, but I don't quite get how to marry the two,
Okay.
if you will, and stay there. It just feels like I'm always either living an entire fantasy back to reality, or I'm staying busy enough long enough to get through the day and it's mediocre. I'm not one way or another. I'm always just constantly managing my emotions and I don't know how to move forward.
So talk to me about the fantasy. What's the thing you feel you're meant to be doing?
My dream is always just to have a design agency. I know so much about graphics design and branding, and I have big visions. Like I can see people's brand and know exactly, but to put it on paper and to actually create it, I suck at the branding piece of it, to be honest, but I feel like I could be a creative director. And I want to teach people the core foundation of personal branding is self-love, but I don't know how to teach self-love. I feel like it's such an abstract thing. And how do I share my experiences that people want to pay me for it? How do I how do I just talk about these things and have an intimate connection with somebody that cares? That's going to shift them, that's going to move them, that's going to inspire them. I mean, I feel like I inspire people here and there online and all of that, but I don't have anybody that's willing to pay me or wants to work with me. I mean, my whole life has just been skewed of relationships, and I've had to tear them all down to the bones. And my husband has taught me phenomenal things about self-love, and I get that, but that doesn't help me with connecting to people like women. And I want business partners, I want friendships, and I don't have any friendship other than my husband. And we all know that masculine energy is very different than feminine. And so I don't know if I'm just scared. I keep just feeling the shame and the shame. And over the weekend, I mean, I can't even begin to describe the feeling, but I had an out of body experience where I was just floating in space and floating away. I was terrified, and I made my husband hold my hand through it all. I said, the whole world was just spinning. I was so lightheaded. And I said, just hold my hand, please. Because I don't know how to be grounded. He grounds me in this world, but it's like I don't know how to stand on my own 2 feet. I don't know. I feel so lost.
Can I ask you
And I'm
something?
sorry.
Why are you sorry? This is your moment. You take it all.
I'm just so confused, and I have been confused for years because all I want to do is just help people.
I know. But I'm going to ask you some questions. So the first thing I'm going to ask you to do is take a deep breath and really breathe in all the way to the top until you couldn't bring any more air in, and then all the way out. And again, all the way in until there's no more air that can come in, and then all the way out. And then all the way in until there's nothing more that can come in, and then all the way out, and think in your mind, I'm okay. I'm all right. So I want to ask you this question. Where did you get the knowledge that the key to personal branding or branding is self-love? Where did you get this knowledge?
Me.
So do you believe that there's somewhere inside of you, if you somehow just like, poop, you have this thought, that it was probably given to you?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I get that your desire is to take this thought and to go help people with it. I get that. And if it were that simple, all of us would be so successful.
Right.
But what I realize in my life is if it's coming through me, it's because it's for me. So every time a person has a business that's not working and you look and you realize they don't have a solid brand, what's your first thought?
They don't know what they're doing.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, how's your brand?
Probably a 3.
So you go out of yourself and you beat yourself up that you don't have people that want to pay you, that you don't have people that want to listen to you, that you're not surrounded by the people. You beat yourself up for all of that. Yet God gave you the thought, God, Mother Nature, the universe gave you the thought. Brands are self-love. This is the gateway. And you said, oh, okay, let me go give it to people. And then no one wanted to listen. And then you made it about you. Something's wrong with me. They don't want to be my friend. They don't want to be with me. They don't like it. I'm going to be embarrassed. But what if the whole point was learn how to make this true? This is your purpose. Your main journey is self-love into branding, expression.
That's what I called it, your brand expression.
Of course. So here's the thing. If you were given the thought, in what world is the answer going to be to give it to other people and lean back on both your shame and they're not liking it to see if it's a good mission or not? We're not going to find it there. So the work for you right now is to get out of the story. It's like, of course you've got confusion. You receive a message from God, you process it through a human mind, and then you give up on it when other people don't understand. It's your mission, and you're needing them to understand it for you to validate it. And it's not even your job to validate it. It's your job to accept the mission or not, and then trust the trajectory and make it happen, because you may not like everything you need to do to make this happen. You may need to face things about you. You may need to reclaim things about you that you've put down. You may need to realize where you have aversions to certain things. You may need to go into deep places inside of you and forgive, go into deep places inside of you and face some shame, go into deep places inside. Like, we don't know what your journey is going to be, but for sure, if it's contingent on you feeling good about it and other people liking it, it's going nowhere fast. The only way is it in alignment with the mission? So if you were to now, from this moment, realize that if you were to look at the two back parts of the triangle pull you back, but they're human, and the one part moves you forward, but it's God. Is it normal that these might sometimes kind of go back and forth? You've got two on the back and one in the front, but the one's a God zone. It's kind of a little stronger there. But is it normal that you'll just stay put if you just listen to all three of them equally? I want this, but people won't like me and they won't like it. Nope. I want this, but people won't like it, then they won't like me. Boom. So the only way forward is let me figure myself out. How can they possibly like it when I haven't even built it yet? What would you have me do? Then the confusion doesn't even matter because the confusion is based on all the backseat stuff, the back triangle stuff. None of it is this, because this is like, you're going to find out. This is your mission. You didn't question so much how you got this thought. So why are you questioning so much how you're going to make it work? Notice how when you got the thought, you just found it was the holy truth and you made it your whole life's measurement of if you were able to get people to believe it or not. But you didn't even question where the thought came from. Now you're going to question whether you're capable, whether you're nuts, why you're confused, whether you're da-da-da-da-da. All the questioning only exists on the back. Will they like it?
I
Will they look
constantly
bad?
question how do I get people to understand or even connect or resonate or
How can they until you do? So your first thing is you must build a brand that is completely created from your own self-love. And you won't know how to do this. You're the vessel for it to be a thing. So you're going to have to ask Mother God, Mother Nature, God, the universe, what would you have me do next? You'll have inspiration. You'll hear things. You'll see things, but you'll ask yourself, is this in alignment with the mission? Not will it work? Not will they get it? Is it in alignment with the mission? Because the first part of the mission is not them getting it. It's that you have created a brand that is anchored in self-love. Because if it came through you, it's for you. And once you have one and it starts to change things, that's when you'll be able to talk to them about it in a way that they can hear it, because then you'll be amplified by your proof of concept. This is what self-made entrepreneurs must rely on. If God sends me a mission, I accept the mission, I do it for me. I will find the words to talk about it only once I've experienced it.
okay.
And there's no shame in not knowing that, because who around you is a successful entrepreneur?
None.
So who is going to tell you? So there's no shame. You led
I've
yourself
hired
to.
many coaches to try to help tell me and tell you the truth.
I know, but
I've,
you know what the difference is? And I really need you to hear me when I tell you this, Mary. You know what the difference is? You did not hire me to help you build a business in this program. You didn't even know what you hired me for.
you're right.
So you hired them to help you. You took this program for something different, and now you're going to find it for the first time because that's not what you were chasing. It wasn't for backseat validation. It wasn't for other people to get it. You didn't even know what you were buying. You were just led here because you just were. This is the same trust that made you say, yes, brands are created from self-love. Like, yes, I don't even know why, but yes to the experiment, yes to this, yes to that. That's why you're here. That's why this is going to land different, because you didn't go, okay, Melanie, tell me how to do this. I didn't even tell you. You didn't even know you were going to talk to me. You didn't even know what I was going to talk about. So you couldn't hire me for the way you've hired everybody else. And that's why we're here. I guarantee it. So even the way you
Thank you.
hired coaches in the back was in the back. I hire people so that they help me have people understand me and like it, or I hire people so that they help me believe in myself more and feel more proud of me and feel like I'm doing good. Either way, that's not, I'm hiring someone so that I can be in alignment with the mission. That's a different person.
I think I get it.
That's good, because we were far from that when we started.
I'm starting, the gears are turning, but I already know I'm going to have to listen to this at least twice.
Perfect. So what I would just give you for softening work after this, you know, when you do re-listen to it, just notice how much of this you've tried to make other people's responsibility. You accepted the mission, but you needed other coaches to make you know how to say it, other people to tell you it was worth it and that it worked, other people to get it, and other people to give you enough attention or a validation for it to be worth it for you to even try. So you said, I'm in, but it's not my responsibility. It's them. If they can help me or they can buy from me or they can keep me encouraged, I'll do it. So then it wasn't your responsibility. It was just about you. And this is why all these decisions were made. So from this point forward, if you're like, if I'm responsible, it means it's my brand, it's my self-love, it's my choices, it's my decisions. And it's not about me, which means if they don't get it right away, I just haven't fulfilled the mission. But that's not about me. When I fulfill the mission, I'll know. Right now, my human's trying to figure it out. They don't get it. It's because I don't get it yet. Is that about me? Or is it like I'm in the process of figuring out the mission? And if I look a bit silly and it's not working, well, that's not really about me either. I've just accepted a God-given mission. I have no idea what I'm doing. You think I'm going to take on the shame as if it's mine? I'm figuring out something. I don't even know what I'm supposed to do. Can I give myself a break? Okay, but is this in alignment with the mission? I'm pretty sure it is. Okay, so let's go. All the moves in that direction.
Okay.
And anytime you find yourself attaching, am I doing it right? Let it go. Because for sure, that's not the mission. Mission is self-love. Mission is self-love so hard, you eventually channel a brand. So all of this front facing, the point is the point. Like if you imagine the boat piercing through the water, through the waves. It's cutting through everything because it's going right through. And anything that's shame or fear, you just let it go in the waves in the back. I'm okay. I'm all right. If it overwhelms you, breathe out. And on the third one, I'm okay. I'm all right. As often as you need. But I don't think you are confused. I think you are one of the most intuitive and tapped in people that just has never really known another intuitive tapped in person to tell them what to do and how to survive.
I have such a big vision and I don't know how to create it. And I haven't found anybody to help me connect with me. I don't have family. I don't have friends. I have my husband and my 2 boys, and I'm
And
trying to
God
make
chose you.
friends.
And yet God chose you. And funny enough, the mission was not have enough people love you and you'll channel a brand.
I had to learn to love me.
It wasn't even have enough people help you and you'll channel a brand. It was the brand is channeled through self-love.
Yeah, it's the foundation of personal branding. I know
So
that in my heart. You have to. It's soul searching, and the more that you heal yourself, the better your brand becomes. I know this. I'm lost in how to teach it and people to get it.
but that's not your mission yet. Your mission is to live by it. Then you'll know how to talk about it. And I can tell you this from my own lived experience. I needed to fall in love with me before anybody else did, or else I would have been afraid of everyone leaving.
That's true.
So right now, you're closer to source field than you think. You've got the core, basic, most important, fundamental circle that you would ever possibly need. And you're ready for friends, and you're ready for success, and you're ready for all those things. But
I
those
am.
are the byproduct of the person you become. And the person that you become is a person who is responsible for the mission that you really want to embody. And you let go of all the stories that attach you to, I haven't had, and I haven't had, and I haven't had. Because the thing is, there is a reason you haven't had that, because you haven't known how to go get it. Because you were trying to get even the people that would lead you or help you, you were choosing them from the back seat. Who's going to validate me, or where am I going to get a network that's going to give me a feeling of belonging, instead of how do I fulfill the mission and be with people who are also going towards a mission? And how do I not need them to be all about me? How do I need them to know what they're doing? Not about me, knowing what they're doing, so I can calibrate, so I can feel like I'm a part of something, but not someone that's going to make me feel something or validate me or do something for me. That I need to figure out on my own. I can't need that forever, or else I'll always go crooked. It's a self-love mission. Of course, it's got to be led by me. Of course, no one's supposed to show me how to create my self-love mission. I've got to voyage on the water with other people on a self-led mission, because then I'm in the current. Can't be showing me how to do it or doing it for me. It's a self-love, God's own mission.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I think I just like the obvious ain't obvious until somebody points it out syndrome.
But honestly, this is the perfect thing. Like when you go from this is the worst to now it's funny, we've made a little move, something's shifted. And if we can do this and you can get yourself to this lighthearted place where you're like, of course, you're leading yourself. This is
Thank
your
you.
breakthrough in your mind. You chose this program when it had no direction. You decided to come this far into the experiment. You decided to raise your hand when I asked this question. You decided to tell me the truth when we got here. You decided to go where you're going. You decided not to close yourself off when you felt yourself get emotional. You decided to keep going with me no matter what. Even when I wasn't giving you maybe the exact thing you wanted to hear at first, you still stuck with it. And now you're laughing. You did this. That's what you're supposed to do.
Thank you.
It is my pleasure. I look forward to seeing what comes next from this.
Me too. Thank you.
It's my pleasure. So the next call, there's going to be a lot more conversation. So I want you to really do this work so that when I ask questions, you can raise your hand and we can have some progress. Like from this call, from what you've seen, there's something else. Now, I want to tell you something. This is really important. In this experiment, I ask people to come up either because they completely understand or because they completely don't. And I want you to notice that sometimes out of fear that you don't completely understand, but wanting and needing to be seen, you take on the identity of not understanding. That is also backseat. As long as I get to talk to Melanie, even if I need to embody temporarily the feeling that I don't get it, it's worth it. So I want you to really notice with yourself, do I sometimes sell myself short just to get validation on the backseat? I would rather you not raise your hand than raise it when you're more clear than you claim just to get some coaching. Notice if you ever do that. This is so important because we do this in our lives because we've been taught the squeaky wheel gets the grease. So sometimes we're like, okay, well, let me just keep myself squeaky and hopefully I get help. The greatest breakthrough would be, can I experience what I just saw through that conversation and take some of it on for myself? Can I actually experience, can I take some of the coaching that was given and see how far I can go with that? And then see how I feel by the time we come on. Like, can Mary have been a representative for me? Is there an angle there for me? And can I take it this weekend? Can I take it on and actually go into my life? Can I take it this next day, these next 2 days? Can I take this until Wednesday morning? Can I take this and say, let me move with this just a little bit and let's see where I am on the next conversation? And so the contemplation, the clearest first contemplation is just, is this in alignment with the mission? Versus, am I afraid that I'm going to be looking bad or that I'm not 100% perfect? Sometimes, like, you, just because you're not 100% perfect, you'd be willing to say you don't get it 100% perfect. But am I still in the mission? Yes. Oh, I'm not 100% sure. Oh, I should feel shame then. Well, I don't know. Do you still feel connected to the mission? 100%. Could there be a question mark as part of the mission? Yes. Oh. So not being sure doesn't always mean a bad thing. Well, it does if shame is the mission. Not feeling ashamed is not your mission. The mission is the mission. Okay, well, I'm a little bit ashamed because I've got a little bit of question mark. But do you still feel you're connected to the mission? Yes. Could it even be that the question mark is part of the mission? Oh my God. The question mark's part of the freaking mission. I've been making myself ashamed of the question mark. I'd never thought to ask myself if the question mark was a part of the mission. The question mark's part of the mission. Oh my goodness. Okay, move. Go. I'm good. Ask yourself. You're going to find things you did not expect. I'll put a thread up. We'll contemplate and you'll tell me what you see with this triangle in your life. What does it look like if you just trust and check in, trust and check in? If you're not so worried about the back and you actually pivot forward and you stop doing the cha-cha with your dreams, 1 step forward, 2 steps back, 1 step forward, 2 steps back, we're actually going to start moving. So Mary, I want to thank you so much for being today's representative. The next call, there's going to be a lot more conversation. So if you're able to be here live, please do. I would love an opportunity to be able to chat with you. Stay connected to the work. See if you can bring yourself back to Sourcefield. I'm okay. I'm all right. We'll take you so much further than you ever thought. I'm okay. I'm all right. Am I still connected to the mission? Well, I am if I stop fearing this and this. But I'm afraid of this and this. But am I okay? Yes. And am I all right? Yes. Okay, move. Just see if you can gently release the fears that have been holding you back, just gently. And I look forward to the next call with you so much. Thank you for your presence. And I will see you on Wednesday.